let's come to the last talk of the day. Again, a very, very interesting talk. And we have with us Professor V.P. Gupta, sir, and Professor in the Department of Ophthalmology, Saraswati Institute of Medical Sciences in Ghaziabad. Sir, over to you.
Can I share the screen?
Yes, sir.
Do I need permission to share a screen?
No, sir. You can share the screen, sir.
Slideshow. It is not coming.
Slideshow नीचे है सर, नीचे.
यहाँ पे सर.
नीचे.
No, slideshow ऊपर आ नहीं है, ऊपर ये क्या बना हुआ है?
सर नीचे से आ जाओ, नीचे पे ही है आपका. You can start from here.
Slideshow is not coming, ना? ऊपर ये
सर,
बने हुए हैं.
सर डाउन
सर
एंड
नीचे-
राइट पे है. डाउन एंड राइट
नीचे जो आइकॉन है ना, नीचे आइकॉन जो चार दिख रहे हैं.
नहीं, ऊपर मैंने साइड में शिफ्ट कर दिया.
सर नीचे वाले से कर लो सर.
Will come now. Yeah. Yeah. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The esteemed chairpersons, moderators, discussants, greetings and warm wishes to all of you from me. At the outset, I wish to profusely thank Dr. Partha Vishwas, the Chairman Scientific Committee and his team AIOS and the members of the Governing Council for considering my name for the prestigious webinar on Aspire for Colonel Rangachari. I am really indebted to you. In fact, it is really an honor indeed to be the part of this august meeting and webinar. Thank you once again. So coming to my journey to the Colonel Rangachari, our research project basically involved with the surgical management of severe dry eye due to Stevens-Johnson syndrome. As you all know, ocular involvement occurs in 2/3 cases of Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and the secretial abnormalities in the conjunctiva and destruction of the limbal stem cells result in symbilifron, entropion, severe dry eye, which may be unilateral or bilateral and of various levels. Cornea may be keratinized, conjunctiva may be keratinized, and vascularized cornea also. Various surgical options which have been tried for severe dry eye include permanent punctal occlusion, salivary gland duct transposition, submandibular gland transplantation, and labial salivary gland transplantation, LSGT, which is also known as minor salivary gland transplantation. My work is on labial salivary glands transplantation. As you all know, minor salivary glands exist in large numbers in the labial, buccal, and palatal mucosa and account for half of the baseline secretion of saliva. The composition of saliva and tears has been noted to be fairly similar in their composition, with few differences including salivary amylase. However, that is not harmful because the substrate difference is there. Thus, the labial salivary gland transplantation, that is LSGT, can provide adequate quantity of salivary tears to combat severe dry eye. However, there is no report of LSGT for severe dry eye due to SJS from India. So this study was aimed to evaluate the effectiveness of labial salivary glands transplantation in patients with severe dry eye due to Stevens-Johnson syndrome. This was a non-comparative interventional series. Severe dry eye cases were included. After detailed preoperative assessment, including Shermer one test, BUT, syringing, etc. All patients were requested to fill a questionnaire pro forma on the symptoms of dry eye on a scale of 0 to 5. SJS with severe, constant, and disabling symptoms were included. Signs of level 4 dry eye patients were included, although level 4 dry eye has less than 2 mm of Shermer 1 value, but I included Shermer 1 test value of 0 because most of our patients were like that. This is the exclusion criteria. After routine investigations and written informed consent, all operations were done under general anesthesia by single surgeon. This is a small video clipping on labial salivary gland transplantation for severe dry eye due to Stevens-Johnson syndrome. This is a severe dry eye you can see. So this is harvesting of LSG, elliptical incision. Now incision at the superior tarsal border to create a bed. This is the LSGG. Suturing of labial salivary gland graft is being done with 80 Vicryl. Final look and post-operative improvement in the conjunctiva and corneal rupture. So this is a case of severe unilateral dry eye. Dry eye is there in both eye, but more in the right eye is very severe entropion, keratinized cornea you can see. And these are the two grafts which were harvested in this patient. So harvesting of two LSG grafts is here. And these are the grafts 15 by 30 millimeters. Two grafts were harvested in this case. And the placement of the LSGG in the superior and inferior fornix in this patient, because two grafts were harvested, so I put in inferior fornix also. So this is the post-operative LSGT appearance. You can note pre-operative corneal opacity, which improved dramatically, and you can see the pupil also in this case. The conjunctival luster has improved, the wetting has improved, Shermer 1 improved. This is another case where 18 months See, I'm sorry for the interruption. This is a patient where 18 months post-operative LSGT patient, bilateral involvement is there. Severe blepharo even essential blepharospasm in this patient. Opening nicely labial salivary grafts in both eyes on eversion of the eyelid. So this study included Stevens-Johnson syndrome. It was bilateral in all except one case. The graft size was 15 into 15 mm to 30 mm into 15 mm. There were no intraoperative complications except bleeding. Post-operative lymphedema was there. There was significant improvement was noted in all the cases in symptoms, in Shermer test, in BCVA, corneal transparency, and there was a reduced frequency and number of lubricants required after surgery. The follow-up period was 9 to 24 months. All grafts were intact till date, till follow-up, and no donor site complications were seen. And I usually suture the donor site after removal of the graft. So this is the table showing the improvement. So in the discussion, these are the studies of LSGT showing improvement in dry eye. Murube was the first one who did 6 cases. However, he included 3 cases of Sjogren syndrome also, which I have excluded, and they are not included by most of the authors. Then this is another study where 10 cases of dry eye were done. Cause was unknown. And Swartz and Franca, there is large series of 37 eyes. Recurrence in 2 eyes of Stevens-Johnson syndrome and 4 years follow-up. These are other 3 studies with improvement in following post-operative surgery. Gerling et al., 17 patients, successful in 90% of the cases for 36 months, grafts were viable. Marino et al., 14 cases, 14 eyes, 10 were due to SJS. Santana et al., they included 19 eyes and 18 had previous surgeries and good results following surgery. These are the studies which I have reviewed and were published after my Rangachari medal. So that is how I have reported. Liu et al. And Waxman et al. Both have reported favorable results following this surgery. The only surgery, Q et al. From China, they did LSGT in severe dry eye in rhesus monkeys, only 4 control and 4 eyes. Results were supportive and better for first 3 months, and later on they said clinically it was better, but fibrosis in the graft and conjunctival cytology was abnormal. So coming to other discussion, the Berube included 3 cases of Sjogren syndrome, and we excluded this because that is an autoimmune disease and which can affect the grafted graft again. So LSGT may improve the outcome of limbal and corneal graft by improving lubrication of the ocular surface according to one study. The important point and the thing is in this study is that long-term viability of LSG is not yet established. Only up to 4.5 years long studies are available. And recurrence of dry eye on long-term follow-up is also a major concern. The main advantages claimed by LSGT is easy accessibility, abundant availability, less invasive, no rejection, no special instrument are required, improves tear secretion, and may even improve outcome of limbal and corneal grafts. So based on this study, it was concluded that LSGT resulted in subjective and objective improvement of dry eye. It reduced the need for lubricants in all the patients. So therefore, it appears to be a promising new treatment for severe dry eye secondary to Stevens-Johnson syndrome. This was the first report of this surgery for severe dry eye secondary to SJS from India. Further studies I suggest, which were the lacuna in this study, are that it should be evaluated. We should evaluate the efficacy of LSGT for dry eye cases with and without prior punctal or canalicular occlusion. Also to investigate the ways and means to maintain long-term viability and secretion function of labial salivary graft, and how to prevent the scarring of the graft using some anti-inflammatory eye drops is recommended. So these are the further scope of these studies.
We are over time.
My journey to Colonel Rangachari is not that fascinating as because this is an oculoplastic procedure. However, the beginning was when I was having a number of the cases of severe dry eye due to chemical burns and SJS. So I tried to search the literature because most of these surgeries I did were failed, particularly the canalicular occlusion and all. So the articles on LSGT by Gerling et al. And Marino et al., they were very encouraging and very impressive in the results for severe dry eye due to Stevens-Johnson, which are left untreated and mostly refused. As LSGT was not described routinely, so neither videos were available, nothing was available. So I perused the articles, particularly the details of the surgery, and performed few cases. In Marino et al., I was surprised to detect few shortcomings because they did not describe the size and shape of the graft, which we did later on, and failed to mention the name of the researcher even who conceived the idea and did first cases, and failed to, they said they were the first one to evaluate objectively, which was wrong. This is the last slide, I think. So I wrote a letter to editor, which was accepted and published in OPRS, which was again a morale boosting for me, and other cases were done more frequently. The surgery was difficult and challenging. but anyone familiar with harvesting full thickness mucous membrane graft may be able to perform. However, he should be prepared to face brisk bleeding, which can be there when you are at the level of orbicularis oris. You have to really go to deep, almost 1 centimeter deep, and the graft thickness is usually 10 to 12 millimeter thick because that contains the gland part. Placing the graft in the posterior lamella was not difficult, however, it was time consuming. In the past, having burnt my hands with rectal mucous membrane graft, which also got Rangachari medal, and I did this, all cases were failure. So it was really very scary to do initial few cases of LHST for the first time here in India. So this was the journey, and this is not the first presentation that I got the Rangachari award. Before that, in 2005, I was in final because I got at the Athawale Award as the Athawale Award for temporalis muscle transplantation procedure, which I got the award. Then in 2008, I got Prem Prakash Award and also again presented in final. This was for Y splitting of medial rectus for infantile esotropia. Then I got Lacrimal Award in 2018. So I did not present it in the Rangachari because I had already got. Before that, my technique on blepharophimosis syndrome got this session's best award. At that time, this Savitri Sujata Rao was not available. So again, I presented in Rangachari. And 2 times before that, one on small IOL in cataract surgery and one on last series on silicone bicanalicular intubation in Chennai. So these are the 6-7 times when I happened to present Rangachari in the Rangachari session in the finals. So in 2012, it materialized and got the award. So I once again thank you all, particularly Dr. Partha and all governing council members for giving me this opportunity to present this work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your wonderful expertise and your innovative thinking. Somshila, you are here. Dr. Somshila. Dr. Namrata, would you like to give a comment for this wonderful innovation?
Excellent presentation, sir. And these are such difficult cases to treat Stevens-Johnson syndrome with dryness and keratinization, and you can't do grafts in these cases because their own cornea doesn't tolerate that kind of a hostile milieu which has dryness, conjunctivalization, keratinization. So how will a graft tolerate that? And this is a wonderful innovation. Of course, the idea is not to get 6x6 vision, but for patients for whom these procedure is done, it's a game changer completely. Because from hand movements, they are, coming to 6x60, 6x24, and it's their own tissue. There are no fears of rejection. There are no fears of long-term complications with this procedure. And so it changes their quality of life completely. I mean, it's a pleasure to watch when they can see nothing and are accompanied by 2 attendants. And when they come, walking alone with no attendants at all, with the eyes which are wet. So it makes a lot of difference symptomatically to the patients and also the vision for the vision of the patients, and that kind of improves. Congratulations, sir. Very tough cases. Not everybody is willing to put their hands into it. These are generally referred from door to door and are just put on lubricants, and people just keep changing lubricants. So I think that is really innovative work, and for very severe dry eye cases such as ours. Thank you so much, sir.
Maipal, sir.
Well, Dr. V.P. Gupta, I have known as my senior, 3 years my senior at RP Center. Pleasure to hear to you, Dr. V.P. Gupta. And I think right from the beginning, he had a brilliant mind. And apart from that, he was very diligent in the work that he used to do. And also great to see you, sir, even at going strong at, I don't know, 66 years of age, maybe. And I've learned a lot from him, and I think I think he has always been a master of plasty and ophthalmoplasty and this thing. I think he had closely worked with Dr. Betheria, but one thing is very, very clear, that his incisiveness, his thought, and his problem-solving approach, that is something very, very good when you describe these procedures in the clinical setting. And I would say, Partha, to end it, I would just say that you have been really, really doing a great job. Kudos to you where you are trying to inspire people. And there is no better way to inspire people than by example. I think collecting so many people who are examples in themselves, who are shining torchbearers of what they have done, what they have achieved. The only thing is that I think single-minded pursuit, problem-solving approach, throwing up a hypothesis and proving that this hypothesis works. And then finally, as Suven, to make it commercially viable, I think these are the steps that we should inculcate in India. And I think kudos to you and the scientific committee. And I would also say to the entire AIOS, Namrata has also been very, very forthcoming. Dr. Chitra Lalit has played his great innings, and he's, I think the best has yet to come with him taking over as president. So I think we have all to boost up the level of research and clinical applications thereof, and put in the inquisitive mind to challenge and to say what you feel can be a new approach and can be a disruption. That's something that we all owe to our youngsters. And I think Partha, great job and great presentation by everybody. Was really, really very, very impressive to hear all the past couple of years Rangachari awardees as to how they have reached this. And congratulations, Dr. V.P. Gupta, for bringing up from front the senior most person.
Thank you, Dr. Mahipal.
Still young at heart and very, very innovative. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Somshila has joined in a little late. Somshila, would you like to say something?
Yes, thanks, Dr. Partha. Of course, Dr. Sachdeva has pretty much summarized everything. Just wanted to point out that, so what we have is a diverse spectrum of various kinds of projects that took off and that did very well and won the award. And every project that we have heard is so deserving. And last but not least was like the icing on the cake, Professor Gupta, where what he has shown is that a surgical approach to a very, very felt need, like Stevens-Johnson syndrome, where really nothing is there. As Dr. Namrata pointed out, it's so miserable to see these patients. So he innovated on a surgical technique, and this too won an award. So I think the Colonel Rangachari Award is not only for the highest level and most sort of high-tech kind of scientific presentation. It encompasses innovation, and it also encompasses surgical innovation. So this is, I think, and youngsters would probably learn from this, that be bold and find out a disease that needs a surgical solution and go after it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Somshila. Anybody has any quick comments? Santosh?
It was a very inspiring session, to say the least. I think everybody did a great job. Congratulations.
I think Santosh has the next editorial ready. The 11 P's for Colonel Rangachari. The editorial, Santosh, I think it is a very nice topic and it will inspire many more readers if you write this editorial.
One thing from this session is very clear, that why only the success rate is 0.03%. They really deserve it. And very nicely said by Dr. Lalit. And they have made it clear that why why they have won the Colonel Rangachari Award. And Professor Gupta's presentation has shown that age is just a number. If you have the passion, if you have the real desire, you can achieve at no age. And Dr. Gupta's presentation showed that even a small idea can really do wonders. And if I can just on a lighter note say that even a tick can give you intellectual kick. So
wonderful, wonderful.
So I think no idea is small. If you have the passion, if you have the perseverance, if you can, and Dr. Suven has shown that if you have that brain to combine that pure science with the commerce, by just tickling your gray cells, even you can not only satisfy your intellectual thirst and hunger, it can also add a significant amount to your bank balance. I think that's how I summarize it, sir.
Thank you very much. Lalit sir, any last
as
note?
I said in the beginning, hats off to you and the scientific team. As I said, because 0.04% of the people who submit, they only reach this position. And therefore, hats off to all these 8 people we have chosen, including Dr. V.P. Gupta, because I love to hear his presentation because he is very methodical and is very strict disciplinarian. And he documents everything. I have seen him because he was our senior resident at RP Center. So, Guru Pranam to V.P. Gupta ji also. But you see this session, I don't know how many of all these Rangacharis are aware, it's got 40 years. I don't know whether Namrata or Partho or Maipal, see how this Rangachari was started. Partho, any idea? So this is, this is Namrata?
No, sir. I mean, I just
this is
remember that I got it very early, that's all.
So, no, 40 years. I'll just take 1 minute, Partho, because, you know, the fact that we have spent nearly 3 hours into it speaks high of this, and nobody has moved at all, including Maipal is still, present here. So, so it is 1981 when Dr. Jaivir Agarwal donated rupees 20,000 to the then, the president at that time was Dr. J.M. Pava, and Dr. B.T. Muscati was the secretary at that time. And Dr. Jaivir Agarwal had offered rupees 20,000 and for instituting this Colonel Rangachari Award. And Colonel Rangachari, by the way, was President AIUS in 1969. And that is the process how it started. And the first Rangachari was in 1981. And today we are in 2021, that is nearly 40 years. So I thought I'll just share this history. A lot of people may not be aware of this.
The first winner was Dr. J.N. Rao.
Yeah.
No, but one thing I must ask Partha, how did you choose these people only and left out the others?
They will come. They will come.
In fact, Rohit was one of the speakers also, but Rohit had to leave for his hometown, so he was not there. But we came up from 2020. So we are going to have the next list.
You plan to go down also from 2020.
And I promise we'll have you as a speaker as well.
Oh, for me, like I shared with Partha also, I got it at a time when I'd finished my post-graduation and I'd appeared for senior residency at RP Center, and I was rejected from RP Center. I mean, they didn't take me the first time for a senior residency. And then I went and presented this. So I was unemployed on the roads. So this came as a big ray of hope at that time. And then when I appeared again, I took this Rangachari certificate with me. So it was, very helpful for the interview. So that's why, I mean, it came for me at a time when there was nothing.
So Rangachari was a job bhi mil jata. But kudos to Partho and the scientific team. Well done, well done.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
The fact that you have brought
Guru Pranam to all of you, sir. Guru Pranam.
The fact that you brought all the Rangacharis here, na? You see, we used to hear one Rangachari in 1 year. So 8 Rangacharis have come here. So therefore, kudos.
Star-studded show, sir. And one thing I think Dr. Santosh or Dr. Natasha said was there's something special in Bangalore here. I think we can make it, we can tell the parents to visit Bangalore also before appearing for the Rangachari session, sir.
Or test the biomarkers.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.